Patrick Tucker joins us. He is the editor of Defense One. Patrick, really good to have you with us. Let me just start by getting your reaction. There's a number of top officials, including Secretary of State, that's been announced. Your reaction?
This is very much what was expected in terms of some of the names that have been already come out. Just today, you also had Avril Haines nominated to be the first woman director of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, longtime fixture in the Obama administration, was a deputy ODNI, also a deputy at the CIA. And what you're seeing from these characters is very much a return to a platform, to an agenda of international multilateralism. You're going to see through Blinken, through Avril Haines, likely Michelle Flournoy for defense secretary. I would probably bet a small amount of money on that. You're going to see a return to institutions of a kind of global nature. You're going to see a lot more emphasis on getting along with NATO allies. You're going to see a lot more emphasis getting along with, for instance, the WHO. A very strong presence in the UN, not retreating from those multilateral institutions and organizations that the Trump administration was very prone to criticize and to rebuke.
So let's focus on Tony Blinken for a second. He's been tapped as the next Secretary of State. That's, of course, the one of the most important, if not the most important, foreign policy positions of the U.S. administration. What can you tell our audience about Tony Blinken and how he might be shaping some of the key foreign policy decisions around the world, particularly with regard to Israel, where we've seen a heavy focus from the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, at a time when we're hearing rumors that the Israeli Prime Minister may have met with the Saudi Crown Prince for talks on normalizing relations with Israel. That's off the back of course, Bahrain and the EU as well. Do you expect that to continue?
I think Saudi Arabia and Israel have been on a track towards normalization for a little bit of a while. They have a lot in common, especially that shared threat of Iran, and their governments are beginning to look a little bit more and more alike. In general, though, I would expect a Biden administration to continue some of the main trends that we've seen under the Trump administration, which does include a pivot more and more away from the Middle East. So I think that to the extent that you have an axis in the Middle East between Saudi Arabia and Israel, you might see statements about human rights and that sort of thing. But in general, expect more of an emphasis on Russia, but particularly China. I think that that's going to be the thing that really defines this incoming foreign policy group, and a movement away from the Middle East and a wind down of some of U.S. activities there.
And where do you see U.S.-Iran relations under this new administration?
In theory, there is an opportunity for those tensions to be less than they were under over the last few years. The Trump administration, of course, backed out of the Iran deal, and it's not something that can easily be put back together. It's not it's not like the Trans-Pacific Partnership where you can sort of jump back into it, and so that is a tension that the incoming administration is going to have to deal with. But there is an appetite there to re-engage with Iran that I don't think that you saw over the last few years. And so opportunities are going to exist for a lot more negotiation with partners like that. At the same time, there remains a tremendous gap between where the administration would like the Middle East to go and where Iran would like the Middle East to go from right now.
Patrick Tucker, really good to see you. Thanks for coming on.